Hello. It's me, Croverwing, here again. Back at it again with another new stream. I don't know. We're doing an art stream. We're doing a chill art stream. It's Golden Week, so there's a trend going on right now, as there is every year for Golden Week. I don't know when it started, but it was a Japanese trend, and I'm gonna continue it. Because I usually do one every year. So we're drawing someone in a golden bikini, but I had a different idea this time for golden bikini themed. I didn't want to just draw someone in like just a regular bikini, so we're gonna do something unique, but you shall see. And this is, of course, my OC, Belfie, as I usually always draw her. Right now, I'm just kind of carving out a base sketch. And we'll get into it. But hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I just started and I'm just kind of like already going in, but you know, I'm just in the, I'm just in the drawing mood today. Hey, Rosie, and thank you so much for the follow, Jack Diamond. Why are my sounds not piping through properly? What is going on? Why are my alert sounds not actually going through? Hold on. I have to double check this before we continue because I need to make sure it's working properly. For some reason, I'm not hearing the sound. Trying to follow and it wasn't allowing me to follow because the app is being stupid. Sorry to hear that. But thank you for the follow. Do you guys hear the sound when the thing does the thing? Hold on. Okay, now it plays. What the fuck? Why isn't it doing it before? Hold on. I'm just testing my sounds because... Okay, that was a fake one. That wasn't a real raid. I'm just making sure that the noises are actually playing. Okay, so the noises are working properly. That was weird. I didn't hear it the first time. I guess I just had to refresh it. I don't know. Weird. Anyways, hi everyone, and welcome. We're gonna be drawing something interesting. Something. I like my usual stuff, to be honest. This isn't gonna be anything too complex, like some other stuff I've been working on, kind of off stream. I know I haven't really been streaming a lot this week. I needed to take a little. I needed to take a little bit of a break, so to speak. You know, kind of figure some stuff out. And work on some other stuff. So that's where I've been, seemingly. I've just been working on stuff. How long have I been drawing for? I think at this point, God, how old am I? 29? I think realistically, I've been drawing since I was like... I want to say at this point over 15 years. But it's not like consistent drawing. Like it wasn't like, oh, I was just drawing the whole time and constantly practicing. It was like I picked up drawing and then I stopped drawing for a bit and then I picked it up again. That's sort of how it's been in intervals, you know? That's sort of how it's been for me. Is like it's been like different intervals of you know, drawing and not drawing. But I started taking it seriously, I think around when I turned probably 17. Around 17 years old is when I started getting like real serious about it. Yeah. And it's been a journey ever since. So currently working on a pouch in realism. Oh. Don't draw properly around my mid 20s. Now I'm in my 30s, wishing I'd started just a bit earlier. When you start doesn't really matter as much as how much effort you put into the process, to be honest. There are plenty of people who start very late in their lives and just dedicate themselves to actually learning and practicing and just getting better. I think we I think we always assume that if we had started earlier, because I used to say the same thing. I think if we all assumed that if we had started earlier, that things would be that I'd be like a little bit better right now, and maybe. But I think the reality of it is like how much was I actually putting into practice and wanting to get better and all that stuff. And I think if you utilize your time smartly, you definitely could um still get there, you know? Because again, it's very easy. Oh, hey, Jabber, welcome. Why doesn't it go? It didn't go off that time. What the hell? What is going on? Why are the sound alerts not? Why didn't it play for me? That's so weird. I don't know. Anyways, what I was saying is,
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
thank you, Rock. What I was saying is, God, there was so much happening just now. I'm losing my train of thought. Um, when you start is less important as how often you practice or how much dedication you put into it is essentially the takeaway. Um, so you can start later in life and still create amazing work. You could start earlier in life and have like more experience, but you'll get there, you know. It's not a race, you know. As much as like a lot of people online would make you believe that you got to get good fast and you got to be consistent and you got to be posting every day and all this stuff, and it's like if this was like truthfully 5 years ago, then maybe that advice would be sound, but to be honest, advice on being an artist on the internet has not been consistent for a while now, and you can thank the current times for that. Um, that's for sure. Don't worry about this phallic symbol that I'm drawing here. Not what you think it is. you're a fan of Akira Toriyama's art, you can kind of already tell what I'm drawing. If not, you'll see. Can't forget her tail. Gosh, she's a Saiyan. Looking like she's Rosalina untucked and ready to stunt for a Mario Galaxy movie poster. I should kill you. No, Rosie's kind of on the money. I could tell the thing that probably set her off was the shoulder pads that I was drawing. She's close, but it's not exactly that. It is Toriyama adjacent. Why would you kill him? Because he just be saying shit in my chat sometimes. And he needs to be stopped, to be honest. Surprised my last message didn't make you hate you as well. You know, it scrolled by so fast I didn't get to like read the full context of it, but it's better that way. Truthfully. Just choking it and think it'd be related. It was. I'm drawing the bikini armor that the female warriors in Dragon Quest wear in the OG Dragon Quest. I'm just gonna make it gold. That's my little flip on the Golden Week trend, is drawing booby armor. It was fantasy directed. I just forgot the name of the series, so happens weirdly often. Or am I getting old noticing the years go by? Rock, Golden Week happens once a year. It's a Japanese work holiday, technically. I was gonna say, what are you talking about? It's not even like a global holiday. It's a Japanese holiday. It's just the only reason you're aware of it is because of either anime or artists online posting their golden bikini art. I should be hyped for Golden Bikini Week, but it's never really been something I cared for. And to each their own. about really all I can say about that. To each their own. Everybody's tastes are different. Sometimes people like golden bikini. Some people don't care about bikini. Imagine being Canadian. Why did you say that? What do you have against Canadians? Just my brain being random right now. Alrighty then. I think this should be... Trying to get the overall shape of things before I start drawing more of the armor. I just wanted to draw the bikini already because I don't want Twitch TOS to come after me for drawing the booba on stream. Should start with the Kiki next time? What is the Kiki? Is that a euphemism? That's what I was thinking. Funnily enough, no. Then what is a Kiki? Dumb character design joke? Wait, I don't understand. What does it mean though? What is it referring to? The Blobs? I think you've heard the term Booba and Kiki for character designs. No, what the hell are you two talking about? Jesse, what the fuck are you talking about? Haven't heard this either. Color me intrigued. I'm just making sure we're not like saying something heinous by accident or something, you know? Because when you said it, when you phrased it like should have started with the Kiki first, I thought you were like, I legit thought it was like a euphemism for like fucking like the vagina or something. I don't know. And I was like, is this one of those new terms that I don't know? It's like shape language thing for character design. If you see a rounder, bigger, friendlier character and a skinny, sharp, angry character, which would you assume would be Boba or Kiki? That is, I I don't know. That's a strange one. I feel like that's hyper specific to like certain people because I don't really like mentally I can't uh I can't really imagine what it's trying to refer to, but I get the meaning. Also, I just realized in the female version of the Warriors, they have a little orb right there, and I'm wondering if Toriyama put that there for a specific reason or not. Anyways, he might have. He was a freak. He was a little freak like that. Is it an online thing or am I just? I'm assuming it's like inside. It's like a. Well, you guys said it's like from a meme, right? It might just be a character design thing that I'm just not very aware of. It is both. I don't know. I feel like if I bring this up to other people, they're probably not gonna know what the hell I'm talking about. This might be a. I don't know where you guys saw this. More character design sphere thing. Yeah, just something to talk about with my cool character design friends, Crow. You wouldn't understand. It's okay. I know I'm not cool like that. Okay. He's joke. Don't worry. I guess I haven't seen any art tutorials recently that like have that as a reference. I don't know. Maybe it's more of a newer thing. I gotta assume it's from 2014. That's weird. I'm gonna be real. Any art tutorials I've seen within like the last 5 years, I've never seen that reference. That's not even me doing a bit. Like I legit have not seen that anywhere. But it is interesting to know. Was it like a specific artist that said that, or like did it just kind of appear? Content came from academic article. Kiki and Boba effect. There's a Wikipedia page on it. Is a non-arbitrary mental association between certain speech sounds and certain visual shapes. The most typical research found is that people, when presented with nonsense words, tend to associate certain ones like boba and maluma with rounded shapes, and other ones like kiki and takete with spiky shape. The discovery dates back to 1920s when psychologists documented experiments participated on connecting nonsense words, shapes in consistent ways. There's a strong general tendency towards the effect worldwide. It has been robustly confirmed across a majority of cultures and languages in which it has been researched. Examples include English-speaking American university students, Tamil speakers in India, speakers of certain languages with no writing system, young children, infants, and, though to much lesser degree, the congenially blind. It has also been shown to occur with familiar names. The Bobakiki effect is one form of sound symbolism. It's interesting though because a lot as I'm reading this, there's not a lot of correlation between it and like art specifically, but it's more about like visual learning in terms of like the way your brain processes things. I think the only reason I would say that for me it correlates is because when I read the word boba, it just makes me think of like a boba, like when you drink boba and there's the round shape, right? Kiki, I don't know if that really makes me think of a sharper shape though. That's the interesting thing. because it's like there are like associations with these like sounds now. Because when I think Kiki, I think Kiki's delivery service. You know, it's the first thing that pops into my mind. But it is interesting. I wonder if you just said like a nonsense. Specifically, shapes themselves aren't specific to characters' design either, but we use them anyways. I never thought about word association, but that is interesting. Um, I saw somebody say the word. It's not a real word, but I just saw them say it as like a name for something, and they said the word scrunt, and I'm wondering what association would you give that word? A drooping guy? Interesting. But when Kiki is like a fun fact to find out. Yeah, it is interesting. I never heard that before. What? What do you mean, all right, dude? What'd I do? Anyways, um, yeah, I've already drawn Belfie in like a golden bikini for like I don't know. I don't know if I only did it the 1 year. I think First Citizens don't talk about Overwatch character design long ago. The conversation around Overwatch character design is always such a. I hate how toxic it is in some sense because there is this general consensus, I guess now, that like the current Overwatch like character designs are not as good as the previous ones. I think they're fine. I just think they don't adhere to the same philosophy as like the OG designs. And that's kind of hard to do because the OG designs were very much inspired by like Street Fighter and like Capcom. And it seems like the new stuff isn't. Here's the thing. The original Overwatch cast was 100% inspired by Street Fighter and Capcom properties, whereas the new Overwatch cast are very much inspired by Overwatch because it's people who are fans of Overwatch designing Overwatch characters. So the discrepancy there is that instead of carving out those references, it is instead just referencing itself. And I think once a game carves out its own identity, it's very easy to get there. Yeah, you know, you know, you know. Um, but yeah. Um, the origin the original uh art director of Overwatch, he used to do a lot of Street Fighter fan art and stuff, Arnold Sung. Before he went deep into the NFT rabbit hole and became like a pseudo crypto bro. And now he doesn't really do anything cool anymore. So yeah, that just really sucks. One of my favorite artists, honestly. And then just now I'm just like, man, it sucks. Worst part about it is his art's still good. It's just that it's used for shitty, like, fucking get rich quick schemes instead of making anything substantial anymore. They even paid that amazing French animation studio, Line Studio, to make like a really well animated commercial for their shitty NFTs. It's so stupid. Okay, you know what? This thing is doing it way too fucking frequently. Never mind. I thought it was gonna be less frequent than that. God damn it. For anybody wondering what that was 10 hours of silence occasionally interrupted by the Bad to the Bone riff. I I was hoping that it would just be like every once in a while, but so far it's playing like every minute. Hold on, I'll leave it for a little bit again. Let's see if it had like when it happens. Do you like how I didn't bring attention to it at all? Hey, Digsaw. Welcome, welcome. It's too often. It's way too often. What's this one? Why does it echo? Why does it echo? You only heard it one time? No, I'm not doing that one. It echoes too much. What about this one? Anyways. What were we talking about? Before I got distracted by the funny noise buttons. Character design, yeah. I've been wanting to make videos on character design and how to go about it. At least for the sake of, remember before I was talking about, like, I did that stream where I talked about kind of like my own, my own process when it came to designing my VTuber model and like how I went about designing that. A lot of that also stems to like my character design philosophy and like how I go about deciding like themes around characters and whatnot. Um, I think ultimately though, character design always does boil down to what do you like, you know? Because those are going to be the characters you enjoy designing the most. Obviously for like paid work or client work or something like that, it's a bit different. Um, because at that point you can't just do whatever you want. It's based off like what specific things. It's based off what specific things like the project is going for, right? So, you know. What? But yeah, I think at the core of it, you know, when it comes to making appealing character designs or character designs for a specific theme, it really just depends on um your your own tastes, like how much you uh how much you prefer certain looks, how much you prefer certain like characteristics and whatnot. Because I think ultimately what a lot of people go for in character design is like stuff that emphasizes their style, right? Like, what does this person draw? They're very good at drawing cutesy stuff. This person draws very effeminate guys or things like that. You know, it's all about like the way you draw specific things and what you're going for in those um, projects. So no, if that goes like that, then I don't need the other part. And how well the style suits the theme. Yeah, like you know, if you're doing something that's like medieval themed, you're not just gonna draw people in like sneakers and jeans and whatnot, right? But say you want to do a mix of a fantasy theme and a modern day theme, well then that's when you start being like, okay, well how do we make this believable, right? How do we make it so it's like, yeah, this looks like it would exist for real. And I think that's the fun part about character designing is when you're able to combine themes like that very effectively. Anyways, I'm gonna draw these fuck ass shoulder pads that Toriyama loves. All right, that was the last one. I'm done. I'm done. I promise I'm done. To keep you on your toes, Chad. I need to make sure you guys were on it. But I hope everyone has been doing well though. Hope everyone has been having a Hope everyone has been having a nice. Even my volume is so low I can't hear anything other than your voice. Do you want me to make it louder? I'll make it louder. But no, I hope everyone has been having a good week and time. That wasn't a request. Oh, I've already made it louder. I'm sorry. You'll hear it soon. Playing Warframe until I suddenly closed and said, "Fuck it, time for 3D." Nice. That's good. Um, I I've been feeling a little lost lately, Chad. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been having another one of those moments where I'm kind of just like, what do I want to do? You know what I mean? And it's like you get to a point where you know what you want to do, right? You have an idea of something that you want to do, and you're like, well, how do I start, right? And you know, it's just been this slow ride to kind of like figure out how I'm gonna do the thing that I want to do, and if it's the thing that I ultimately do want to do and put all my time and effort into, stuff like that. You know, very existential stuff like that. Also, hey Diggly, what up? Um, is there ever gonna be a moment I go into your stream and it's not gonna be cursed, Diggly? Like truthfully, you got some freaks over there, like for real. And pro fighting game players, which is just such a dichotomy. What's wrong with my stream? Every time I go in there, you're being racist. And it's like one of these days I'm just gonna report you to Twitch, man. Like you can't keep getting away with it, you know? But also, if you really want to be like, oh, chat reflects streamer, your stream is insane when it comes to that. Your chat is like, good lord. We're talking about. Don't bring that into my chat. Why are you bringing that here? What is wrong with you? You keep that over there, buddy. You look up all the assholes you want. That's not my business. Anyways. Been working on commissions, but I took a break today because I exercised and I'm tired. Yeah, I feel that. That's something that I've been needing to do. I needed like start working out again more consistently because I feel like my stamina levels have been like dangerously low lately, and I hate that. I mean, I thought I was like really out of shape, but I'm not as out of shape as I thought I was, thankfully, but still not in great shape because I get tired way too easily unless I have caffeine. So definitely got to fix that to some extent. But also, it's just good to be healthier, chat. It's just good to have a body that works properly, you know. Yeah. It's probably one of the other important lessons I would give to younger artists is like, hey, don't neglect your health because if you have good health, you can draw for longer hours. Yeah, who would have thought? If you're healthy, you can do more. That's how it work. You know? Eat a good diet, get some exercise, don't stay sitting down for too long. All these things are super important. As much as a lot of people don't want to hear it, it is. It is super important. No, but seriously, like, if you just train back, it'll make you not want to sit on your desk. Yeah, maybe don't have. Here's a tip for lifting days. Don't have those be on your drawing days. Do if you're gonna lift, work on your shoulders or back or anything. Do those on the days when you know you're not gonna draw. Do cardio on your drawing days. That's good, because otherwise you're gonna not feel great. That's my crow advice for you. Um, but yeah. I was taking a lot of this week to work on some personal art, just draw for myself, to be honest. Like really just kind of do things that I want to do for a little bit. And then also just figure out what is it exactly that I want to do. And it kind of hit me over the course of the week and also like a little bit today. As you can draw the days you lift, just not on back day specifically. Back or shoulders, I think, is just bad for, you know, when you want to do that kind of stuff. Um, long-term goals. It's more just like I don't want to say anything like that, like long-term goals, but it's more just things that I've just been wanting to do that I've been putting off for a bit. Because I've felt not motivated. Truthfully, as much as it's something you don't really want to hear as much, I think there's just been a lack of motivation for me to do a lot of stuff because it feels like a lot of opportunities I would have had or, whatever have just kind of fallen by the wayside. And it feels like you do a whole lot for not a whole lot in return, And then, I think it's tough, right? Um, for anyone these days to get to a point where they're just doing the thing that they want to do, the thing that they love, as a living or along those lines. Um, but it's very easy to get discouraged in that regard. I have a day job. It's very like I'm not gonna harp on it too long because I feel like I do that way too often. But like I have a day job and it's miserable. It is a miserable day job. It is your typical like I work at a warehouse and it sucks and it sucks and I've injured my back working there. I've injured like my hands feel not as strong as they used to because of the repeated lifting of heavy objects. Like it's this thing that's slowly like eating away of not just my soul but of my body, and it's like it definitely gets this point where like it feels like a dead end. And I try to fight so hardly to not have that be what it is by just maintaining what I do here and just the art that I make and stuff like that. But it feels like lately all I've been doing is kind of just you know the bare minimum, surviving and all that stuff. And for some, that's enough. But for me, I feel like if I'm just doing that, then I truly am stuck. So I want to start getting to the point where I'm doing things that are the things that I want to do, regardless of, you know, my job and how much it beats me down. Um, Not the most fun topic to talk about, obviously, but I think it does go hand in hand to like the things that I want to do, soon. And part of that is, like I said, really actually emphasize on making creative works that emphasize creative work, because I truthfully think that there's a lot of things that people need to hear these days. Maybe I am not the authority on these things, right? Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to some of this stuff, but at the very least, I want to give some insight onto how I feel about, art, creativity as a medium, and the way that we kind of, the way that we strive to keep doing it, despite how much there is, in the world these days that are telling us that we shouldn't, you know, and that's just to me, that's just something that I've been wanting to focus on, you know, like talk about things that inspire or motivate, as opposed to just like sitting around and being like, hey, doesn't things suck? Because I feel like, you know, that doesn't help anyone. Not even the people who are benefiting from that specific like mindset, because there are people who will just say things suck because they know that it'll get the easy like attention, right? But I don't even think that that benefits those kind of people either, because it's like it just gets them stuck in this loop of just saying the same thing over and over again, and then not having really anything that they enjoy, you know. And I think that that is kind of just like a miserable existence. Um, so all this to say is that I've got some YouTube projects that are down the line, some very soon and whatnot. But I'm gonna really start being more gung ho about like putting my work outside of just like my social media. And here, I'm like actually gonna put in an effort to like actually do. I'm gonna put in an effort to actually like do you know, content creator stuff, not because I'm like, oh, I want to be a content creator, I want to be an influencer, not because of that, but because like I feel like I have a lot of fun being able to like just yap about the things that I enjoy, you know, and maybe in a more well written, well articulated manner, more so than just spur of the moment. I go on here and I just start like spewing bullshit out of my mouth a lot of the time, you know. um I mean, I try my hardest to be like as well spoken as I can be about topics and whatnot, because I feel like definitely, you know, I never want to be the person who just like half-asses a discussion, like, or when somebody asks me a question to just give like a whatever answer. Like, I try to always answer things to the best of my ability, especially when streaming or when talking about like art and whatnot, because I think it's very easy to just fall into um the same response each time, you know? But yeah, there's gonna be some stuff coming up on the YouTube channel, and also, I've been thinking about making a. So I have my VODs channel and I have my main channel, but I'm gonna make a third channel. I know, too many YouTube channels, but that's the strategy these days. But I'm thinking of making another channel that is literally just dedicated to like game stuff. Like whenever I play a game or do a playthrough of something, like I'm gonna have a channel literally just dedicated to that. Um, So keep an eye out for that. I will post it when it becomes a thing for realsies. Mostly because I feel like on my main YouTube channel, I want to keep it talking about. I want to keep my main YouTube channel talking about art stuff and stuff that I'm passionate about in terms of like creative works. And I feel like having game stuff and that stuff in the same place is like it'll be a little jarring. So I want to make a channel that's literally dedicated to more of like my VTubing / streaming stuff. That'll be like a bit more fun, and it's not like going to be complicated editing. It's just going to be like cutting up streams into the more like highlights and then just doing that. When those will be rolling out, I can't really say, because it's whenever I have time to edit, which is usually not a lot, but I will try my hardest to kind of make time to do a lot of uh to do a lot more editing and whatnot. I need to just figure out a pipeline for editing, that's for sure. Love watching highlight reels. Yeah, I figured that that's the best way to kind of introduce people to the things that I make, is by doing like highlight reel-esque stuff. But yeah, I will let you guys know when the channel is made and I have something to put on it, because I don't want to just make the channel, link it, and then there's just nothing on there. Like, I want to at least have something to put on there. And also for the sake of like making clips as well, like making it a little bit more um because that's the way to do it these days is make clips, then edit those clips and put them on shorts and TikTok for the people who want the key jingles, you know. Super awesome clips. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Rock. Got the coolest clips ever. And who knows? Maybe if I maybe maybe if I do it enough, it'll take off somewhere, you know, and allow me to do even more things. So, here's to that. That'll be starting up soon. So, if you see me streaming less frequently, that'll probably be why. At least until I can get to the point where I can get somebody to help me with that stuff. But yeah. Hugh Belfie, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay. But the thing that motivated me today, especially, was well, in general, I've just had this sense where I'm like, I'm getting so tired of feeling so miserable, you know? I'm getting tired of feeling so miserable about like day to day and letting it take over my life. So I'm like, I just want to make shit, man. You know? I want to make cool shit and I want to talk about cool shit. So I'm going to do that. But the thing that kind of kickstarted my desire to want to like do that was it actually was this morning when I was watching the Daigo versus Men exhibition first to 10. For those that are not familiar, today, this morning for us, but evening time yesterday for Japan, there was a stream that Evo was hosting. It was an exhibition event with Mena RD and Daigo Mahara, where they played first to 10 wins. And a lot of people were saying that Daigo was going to get sweeped completely, like he wasn't even going to take a round. And it ended up being a lot closer than people thought it was, and a lot of Daigo naysayers were kind of eating their words because he still has it. But it was something about the passion that was there, because it's like it wasn't like they were playing for money or anything. Like it was literally just an exhibition match, like just them playing, right? And so they were playing Street Fighter 6, by the way, if anybody was curious. They were playing Street Fighter 6. I was like this morning. I literally woke up, got ready for work, and as I was getting ready for work, they were playing. So I got to see it like all live, right? And you know, I like watching fighting game stuff. I like watching fighting game stuff from like, you know, especially older people in the fighting game scene, like Daigo and whatnot. Daigo is 44 years old, which is it like crazy to think about. Daigo is 44 years old and he's still like actively going around competing and stuff like that. Is he still what he was years ago? Some would say no. Or, you know, a lot of people would actually say no. A lot of people would actually say, oh, he's not like the same Daigo anymore. Like he's not, you know, it's the same way people will talk about certain sports, like certain athletes and whatnot, right? But the 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 crux of it was that Daigo came out swinging, and even at almost 45, he is still holding his own against probably the best Street Fighter 6 player in the world, you know, and one of the best like fighting game players period against Mena, literal Evo champion. So Daigo yeah. So Daigo didn't win, right? It was 6-10. So Daigo took 6 off of Mena. And it was crazy the pacing of the matches too, because it was never a case of Mena just completely clean sweep Daigo. No. Mena had to work for every single win because Daigo was consistently taking rounds off of him, and it would go to round 3, and you know, it would be like one mistake or one play that, you know, would get Mena the win or whatnot. But like, you know, it was very much one of those things where it's like these were so close I wouldn't even be able to call it like any kind of sweep, right? And of course people online are gonna, you know, meme the fuck out of it and be like, oh, you know, the GOAT is washed or whatnot, right? Like, and try to downplay like Daigo's achievement, but it's like dude was playing out of his goddamn mind and better than most people would be playing, you know? And something about that, and especially because afterwards they interviewed them, and Daigo essentially said something along the lines of, I think it's an amazing thing that there's so much passion and skill in fighting games, you know? Like, there was this genuine appreciation he had for the fact that Mena was as good as he was, or as good as he is, right? And it's telling that that's the sentiment he takes away from, like, losing. Because, mind you, this player, Daigo, he's never lost a first to 10, like a long form, the long form format. This is the first time he's ever been beaten in like the long form format, for Street Fighter. So it was a big deal. It was a big deal in a lot of cases. One of the most telling things is that Mena didn't even like pop off when he won. He just kind of like got up very, very slowly, very like, you know, almost in shock that he was able to pull it off, because it's scary, you know? Despite what people may say, like Daigo is still nothing to sneeze at in terms of like his overall skill in fighting games. Like, would I 100% get like clean sweep by Daigo? Oh yes. 100%. I probably wouldn't even take a round off of Daigo. Yeah, he's tormenting with the parry out of hands. And it was this sentiment that like kind of got me motivated, because it was like, man, if he at almost 45 is still pulling off like these kind of clutch moments and whatnot, it's like I have no excuse for like what I'm lacking, you know, and the things that I'm doing. Like I could do these things at any moment, but I'm just choosing not to. And you know what? I gotta lock in. I gotta like actually start, you know, getting motivated again to do. I gotta start getting motivated again to do the things that I want to do. Like I'm not even close to that age. That's still like a decade off for me, but like, you know, it's never too late. This is what I mean by like earlier when I forget who in chat had said like I wish I had started drawing earlier. It's like it's never too late. There's always time. You know? Too, but when I play I get so demotivated. That's the same for everyone, Gira. As an artist, one of the hardest things to fight, like realistically, you want like a real talk moment here when it comes to the comparison between art and fighting games. as an artist, one of the hardest aspects of art is the lack of motivation. Because the only way to get started doing art is to have motivation, to feel motivated, to want to make something, to want to come up with an idea and whatnot, right? And it's easy when we sit down and we look at a blank canvas, and no matter how much we put lines or do squiggles or do all this stuff or put down shapes, it doesn't come up to the image. Like it doesn't become the image that we see in our heads, right? And we get frustrated because it's like it's just not happening. The things that I want to do, I maybe don't have the skill for it, or maybe I'm just feeling off that day, and my motivation just tanks because I feel like I'm just not putting in my all. And what was all the countless, hours, what was all the countless hours of practicing drawing and learning all this stuff? What was it for if I can't even just do something simple like this, right? And you sit there and you get demotivated, and you don't want to do it anymore, right? You want to step away and you want to go do something else because it's just not worth it anymore, right? And it's this constant battle you're fighting, right? And it all leads back to something that's super important when it comes to just anything you do in life, which is you're going to fail. You're going to fail. And a lot of the time, the idea of failure and the idea of messing up or losing prevents you from ever starting. It prevents you from even getting to the starting line, And that is probably one of the lessons that I've taken away from being an artist for so long and from playing fighting games for years. It's why I kind of equate the two. Is a lot of artists stop before they even get started because they just assume they're never going to do it, or they're afraid of messing up. But the reality is you're going to, and you need to, and you can't let that hold you back no matter what. You're going to lose, you're going to mess up, you're going to fail, but you learn from it, And that's like the most obvious thing. Like a lot of people will tell you that. A lot of people will be like, hey, you're just going to learn from that, what you messed up, from that whiff. And it's easier said than done, but when you've been there enough times, you realize this isn't so bad. It's not the end. It's the start. And when you keep that in mind, it pushes you, because failure doesn't have to be the end. It's just another start. And that's why when I lack motivation, when I feel like I can't accomplish something, like with art, or I'm just not getting it right, I take it as an opportunity. I view it as something that is going to eventually work out, but only if I put in the effort to. If I just stop there and say, I can't draw this, then I'll never do it. And then just nothing is gained. And then time is truly wasted. And I'd rather not do that, Failure will kill me mentality, but it's trying my best. I'm just hard on myself mentally. You're hard on yourself because you want to get better. Because you can't stand the idea of you failing. You can't stand the idea of you not living up to the expectations you set for yourself in your mind. And that'll only make you sink deeper. What you should expect of yourself is to enjoy it. That is the most important takeaway. Is not, did I get this thing right the first time? Did I get this thing right the second time? Is, did I have fun? Did I enjoy the process? That's what I tell people all the time. It's how you get into burnout very easily, when you say, I'm just not enjoying the process anymore. And I tell people, well, then switch it up. Do something that you feel will actually, like, make you have fun, Or just take a break. Taking a break is not the same thing as giving up. Taking a break means you recharge so that you can tackle it again. It's part of the reason why a lot of the time they'll tell, if you're working on a big piece of art, they say, come back to it a day later. Because when you come back to it a day later, you can find all the flaws that you didn't see originally, you know? You get fresh eyes, you get a fresh perspective on it. So sometimes you do just got to take a break, come back to it a day later, and maybe things will be better. A lot of times also people, especially on social media, will see the end product and won't realize time and effort it takes to get there, so they'll give up if they don't get the result immediately. Yeah. And I think that's a result of the instant gratification you get from, you know, making art and people like responding to it immediately. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I fall into that trap too. Sometimes I'll post something and it blows up and I didn't even think it was going to blow up. And you know, there's this feeling in your brain of like, wow, that feels good, right? But you can't get stuck in that feeling, right? Because the next time your post doesn't blow up, which it's not going to, it doesn't always happen. Then you start feeling like, maybe I'm not that great, you know? And you can't let yourself fall into that trap. You can't let what others people like think about your work dictate what it is. You need to enjoy what you do, you know? You need to draw things for yourself or create things for yourself, you know? Um that'll keep you motivated, that'll keep you passionate. And know that no matter what, there's always going to be people waiting for your next piece of art, the next thing you make, even if you don't think so. I've thought that so many times. I thought, man, that last one sucked. I don't know if anybody will like my next one. And then I post it and then people like it, right? These days, it's a lot harder to get that kind of instant feedback because so many social media sites are fucking busted because they're run by a bunch of ghouls. But at the very least, you'll know that the people who continue to enjoy the people who enjoy the things you do because it's you will continue to do that, you know? And that's the most important takeaway. I don't know if that was helpful at all, but that's just like my perspective on these kind of things. It told a lot from my artist friends and helps me progress. Yeah. No artist got here overnight. Trust me. It'll take time to get there. But when you do, and you look back at all the hard work you did, it will feel great. Trust me. It will. I'm trying to hit so many milestones, like Street Fighter 6 art, etc. Constantly being just decent builds on me. Then find the one thing that you enjoy the most and focus on that. Because sometimes when you do stretch yourself thin like that, it is the easiest way to... It is for sure the easiest way to get burnt out. I feel stretched thin in my hobbies. I could do with the Fuhrer. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you do need to just reevaluate what is the thing that you want to focus on. Remember, a hobby is at the end of the day is meant to be fun. and like something to help you relax. It's not meant to be like, you know, it's not meant to stretch you thin. Redraw old stuff, join funny art challenges, play with friends, go to local events, whatever was the reason you started these things. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of refreshing not trying to get all the new sets. So here's my thing, right? I'm more of a recent Magic fan, but the only time I actually care about sets in Magic is when it's things that I care about. I don't try to buy every single set. Strixhaven to me was a cool one because I really like the Strixhaven set, but like if for the next set to really get me, it needs to be something that I actually like really care about, like along the side of like Final Fantasy, because otherwise I'm like spending too much money on cards. But I do want to collect more of the Final Fantasy cards because there's like a bunch that I still don't have. But man, are they expensive. Boy, are they pricey. I'm like completions by nature and want full sets. I feel like depending on what card game you're playing, that would end up bankrupting you unless you're a bajillionaire. No problem, Gira. Look, I'm not. I tell people all the time because I don't want people coming to me and being like, "Oh, Crow knows everything" or whatever, right? I'm somebody who messes up a lot, so a lot of what I tell you guys is just experience based off, my own failures, and definitely not applying myself in the same way that I should have been, years ago. But it's easy to look at that with hindsight. Um, I'll tell you this right now. Don't pressure yourself too much, especially, at a younger age, because when you do that, or it doesn't matter what age, but like when you pressure yourself too much, it stops you from even starting, right? It stops you from even getting to that starting line. Um, so, yeah. Nice thing for sure. But I look, make my money back and done. Yeah. I think that's part of the reason that I'm justified in like a lot of my Magic stuff because technically I've made a decent amount of my money back when it comes to it, so not too bad, but we'll see. We'll see how much some of those cards I pulled go up in price, but yeah. If anybody wants to feed my addiction, I won't say no. Anyways, I'm gonna do a quick BRB. I gotta go to the bathroom, so everyone hang tight. Gonna run some ads. BRB. Okay, I'm back. Hello, everybody. I'm back. Why's my phone ringing? Anyways, yeah. Watching people play fighting games good made me realize life is worth living. That was the takeaway, if you didn't know. If you didn't realize what I was fucking yapping about earlier. Oh yeah, guys, something really cool is happening near my neck of the woods, and I'm very happy about it. Sorry to everyone who's not from California, but guys, we're getting well, specifically Los Angeles, but we're getting an official Square Enix permanent cafe. I'm so happy about that. We're getting an actual Square Enix cafe here stateside. Could you believe it? I gotta go to a cafe and buy Final Fantasy VII merch. I'm sure that thing is gonna be fucking packed when it opens up. But, uh, but I'm excited for it. I feel like America usually doesn't get these kind of like collab things because these kind of cafe things are like really popular in Japan. Like they're like a mainstay in so many places. Um, but we never get stuff like that over here. But now we're getting an actual like, you know, just like how America finally got well, not America, but like the West Coast finally got its own Nintendo store. Um, you know, I'm hoping that at some point they open a Pokemon Center in LA. Are you calling a reservation? You won't be in for a year. They haven't even opened up reservations. But when they do, I'm going to be hopping on. Also, Chad, I regret to inform you I might be playing Final Fantasy XIV again. I I unfortunately have got the Final Fantasy 14 bug, and I might be jumping back in. Sorry to hear that. I know it's devastating, truly. But I don't know. I'm probably not gonna like truthfully. I'm probably not gonna play it on stream. To be honest, that might be like an off-stream game exclusively for me because I've learned my lesson in the past that I think MMO streams are kind of like they cannot be the most entertaining watch because it's a whole lot of reading and like a whole lot of just going like walking back and forth. They were good like morning yap streams for sure, but definitely not the most exciting if I can be real. But yeah. But I might jump back in. So hey, if anybody in the community is like really into FF14 and wants to guide me, I will be posting about it in the Discord when I decide to re-up my subscription. It'll probably be soon, but it's not the most hyped to stream. I think if you're doing like raids and stuff, then yeah, it's a little bit more exciting, you know? But I don't really I was mostly going through story content, so it was like a whole lot of reading, cutscene, then boss fight, reading, cutscene, reading. So yeah. Also, hey, homo. That feels so weird to say out of context. Satsui no homo. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna call you. Are you okay with me calling you Satsu? Because I don't want to say the whole thing each time. And I don't want to do what Dirgly does. Call me whatever you want, boss man. Okay. Thanks, man. In the story is a lot of busy work and pausing. A Realm Reborn was, because that's where I was. Methinks you just start calling him. Yeah. Listen, I have a very diverse and progressive chat. So if I just say, "Hey homo," who knows who I'm talking about? You already said you were going to do what Digley does? Yeah, I'm not. Digley or Gira might just pop up if you say that. Gira's already somewhere here. Gira was lurking. Digley was also here for a second and then he left. That or he's just lurking. No, you're right. How dare you call me that? Damn. Might be original gangster. I guess I'm closer to Out of Context YouTube channel. One of my favorite Out of Context clips was when I was playing Final Fantasy 14 and I found a guy named John FF14. I still need to like edit that and post that clip because it's one of my favorites of all time. Amazing, amazing moment. What you drawing? I'm drawing my OC Belfi, my purple demon lady, in the Dragon Quest warrior bikini armor, because it is Golden Week, so it's time to draw characters in golden bikinis. And I've already drawn this character in a golden bikini, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do something a little bit more interesting. So I'm putting her in golden bikini armor. So that's what we're doing. Yeah. Have you been drawing digitally for a long time? Yes. Some of my oldest work dates back to, well, at least from what you can find on the internet, is like from 2017, 2018. That's when I kind of started getting more serious about posting my stuff online, because before I used to just draw for myself, right? And then post on Tumblr every once in a while. Don't think I've ever joined this trend. We'll see if I do. If you guys want to see what my art looked like back then, I like to show it off every once in a while. Because I saved it. Where did I save it? For some reason I saved it in my OCs folder. Very low resolution, but this is me drawing Lilith back in 2018. There you go. This is my old. I drew this on an iPad, I believe. Yeah, I drew this on an iPad with an Apple Pencil. There's that. There's, what's another one? This one might be 20. No, this is also 2018. This one I started drawing on the iPad, and then I think I said this was one of my earlier Clip Studio Paint drawings. This is another old 2018 Crow art. I use an XP Pen tablet, and then I think one of the first. Do you guys want to see the first ever drawing I drew when I got Clip Studio? I actually do. Have the first ever drawing, and it's unironically my hero. When I first got Clip Studio years ago, this was the first thing I ever drew in Clip Studio to test out what it could do. I drew Froppy. As you can see, I was really trying to go for this reflective water effect on her. Didn't really pull it off. Didn't really pull it off, but you know. Brother went crazy with the lighting. I feel like it you know, I didn't get the effect that I wanted down for it, but it was a good test to see what I could do in Clip Studio. That's for sure. And yeah, I was even drawing Darkstalkers back then. But you see this was my Lilith in 2018. compared to my Lilith in 2020, my Lilith in 2025, in the 2025, 2026. What year is it? Much has changed. Much has changed between these two. So you can see the improvement. Remember when I said that the one thing that matters most is getting past the starting line? This was the starting line. This is where I'm at now, and I'm nowhere near that where I was then. I'm way farther ahead, you know? So I would say I'm doing a lot better. Do I have another old drawing? Let me see. Ah, this is a good example. 2018. I drew the character from Ross, Rubber Ross's new show that's coming out soon, Gameoverse, right? Drew this back in 2018 when he first announced the series and he first showed off the characters. Then, when we got the new trailer, I was like, okay, what if I redraw this? And then, bam. Eight years later, what improvements you see, you know? Not just like the character design changing, but also just like the way I render, the way I do line art, everything. 2018 really was 8 years ago. Yeah, that's the thing, right? You improve. You do improve over time. You just gotta remember that, you know? But yeah. Nowadays, I draw on an XP Pen tablet and I draw in Clip Studio just regularly. Before, I used to jump between Procreate and Clip Studio. To start trying digital art because my nephew has taken an interest, so I got both of us little Wacom. Yeah. Give it a shot. It takes some getting used to the first time you do digital, that's for sure. But there's a lot of neat stuff that you can pull off with it. Got to download Krita and was immediately overwhelmed. Krita is I would say Krita is not a beginner friendly, despite it being free, is not a beginner friendly drawing program. I would say it's definitely for people who kind of know more about how to edit brushes and know what to do with them, or are just looking for a simple solution. If you want them to start with something that's a bit simpler and isn't going to overwhelm them, Paint Tool Sai is still very good. The old reliable Paint Tool Sai will never steer you wrong. Krita a little confusing. Yeah. That's, I think, is the most common complaint I've seen about Krita. Yeah, Paint Tool Sai is also, like, pretty cheap as well. You can also, honestly, just open up those free, like, Drawpile or Magma and stuff like that, and also just, like, use those for, like, doodling as well. I think they're pretty good for that. Your super modular, customizable open source app. Yeah. That's why I think it's very not beginner friendly. Because you need to know what you're doing when it comes to like modifying stuff. And like what settings you want to play with and whatnot. But there's a lot of options out there these days, to be honest. I think back in the day you had to rely on a crack of Photoshop CS5 or CS3. That was like the thing that you would use back in the day. I mean, you find a legitimate copy of Photoshop, you know, whatever. Adobe's a shit company. Who cares? Artists sharing their size in DeviantArt or Tumblr. I got mine from Tumblr. From a Mexican artist that I followed at the time. I don't know whatever happened to them. I think they still draw, but I haven't like I never went around to go look for them. A guy I don't talk to anymore. Damn. All I remember is that the artist that I got it from had a style that everyone was trying to copy at the time. It was a very Tumblr core style, I'll say that. I don't know how much it's evolved since then. Probably it has. But their art was good. It was definitely formative to me when I was a teenager just hanging out on Tumblr. I say teenager, but my Tumblr years are really like closer to my young adult years. I think their name was like Lemon Tea Flower or something like that. I couldn't remember. All I remember is that they would post in Spanish every so often. Because they had just a link on their Tumblr. Sounds familiar. I don't know if that's still what they go by, but that's what they went by back in the Tumblr days. Me went up in a Tumblr account just to follow Akai Riot when I was 16. Was Akai Riot still doing like all the booba art even back then? Because I didn't find Akai Riot until like I joined Twitter. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Not very active lately, but it seems they have an industry job, so likely doing okay. That's good to hear. Well, thank you to them. thank you to them for providing me my first copy of Paint Tool Sai and getting me really like started on my artistic journey to formative young crow. It's kind of so funny when you notice certain artists like going down the not safe for work like route because you start following them and they're just like you just draw really like cool art, and then out of nowhere they're just like booba, and you're just like, oh damn, I didn't know you had it in you. Remember to do your Zenless dailies, everyone. Saw huge cities on my timeline. I was like, oh, all right. I forget what creator that I follow just started doing that. There are several like people that have been following since like the Tumblr days that never really did not safe for work stuff, and then all of a sudden like within the past like 5 years started doing more not safe for work stuff, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And I feel like that like in a lot of cases it's inevitable because a lot of them usually will have like those drawings, but they'll just have it like off to the side and they'll never post them, but then like they start posting them. The funniest thing is like you have like big popular artists like Speedoru, um who get famous because of Punch Punch Forever and all that stuff, right? And then people are like, did you guys know that Speedoru is a porn artist? I'm like, yeah, dude, that's like they've Speedoru has been doing that since forever. Like that's not a new thing. I'm at it. So I low-key had no idea. Just thought Speedoru's art looked vaguely familiar. Oh yeah, Speedoru does shit ton of porn. The times, old man, those people bringing it up. I think it's also funny whenever people are like, "This person does porn." I'm like, yeah, and like, doesn't devalue the good stuff they make. Like hell, even if the porn is good, the porn is good. You know? Why do we gotta like sit here and be like, oh, you know? Da Vinci drew wieners constantly. People don't have an issue. Yeah. Artist has a cool side. I wish they posted more often, only to discover they post much more stuff on their not safe for work. Mind of all the stuff cartoon animators will get up to behind the scenes. Yeah. Somehow the masses have gotten so woke it caved in on itself, turned back into puritanism. Look, I'm not someone who actively like looks up or like delves into like horny content constantly. Like, um, like I like personally, I'm not looking for horny art all the time or horny like content and all that stuff, right? That's not like my day to day thing, right? But like when people make it and it's good quality, it's like I'm like, oh hell yeah, you know? Like let people enjoy that, you know? Why not? I don't know, dude. I'm not thinking about jerking off all the time. Personally. Well, that makes one of us. Okay. You know what? We didn't I'm glad you corrected yourself because I was about to fucking shoot you into the stratosphere and be like, I don't need to hear about your jerking off like thoughts. Anyways, yeah, that Coney image is evergreen. I'm trying to play. I'm not trying to play fighting games to jerk off or to come or whatever the fuck he said. You know the one. It's not the time nor the place. Good. I'm glad that you understand that. I'm glad you're aware. Most I draw something every 4 months. Yeah, same. A lot of the times, if I do end up doing not safe for work stuff, it's literally because I'm trying to practice like specific anatomy stuff as well. And I'm like, well, I can't just post this on MAME because there's boobies in it and or a penor. So I'm like, well, that goes on the not safe for work page because it won't be out of place there. And it ends up being the most dog shit thing ever because I refuse to look at references because I don't want to see peanuts. I mean, if you want to draw proper anatomy, you gotta look at the peanuts every once in a while. I look at one every day. It's just there, you know? Okay. The right equipment for that endeavor. Sorry to hear that. I love how somehow that was the thing that crossed the line for you, Jabber, is me saying that. It's funny to react that way. As men, we unfortunately have to look at a penis every day. You know, or fortunately, I guess depending on whatever jerks you're gherkin. More for me. All right, that's crazy. Locker room shenanigans. I was also just talking about locker room shenanigans with my coworker. What do you mean by that? What do you mean locker room shenanigans? What the hell are you getting up to? You know what? No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Never mind. I don't want to know. I work in a restaurant. Okay, listen, whatever you guys do in the restaurant, that's your guys' business, all right? I'm not here to judge or anything. That's between you and the wait staff. Doesn't sound up to code. Chad, I'm gonna krill him. No. Listen, you can't just start something by saying like locker room shenanigans, am I right? Because it just it paints an image, you know? It's the freezer. Not our own experiences? Okay. Guys getting handsy while changing in the locker room. All right. That's crazy. Feel like it came in at an interesting time. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about context. It's all right. It's better this way. Anyways, welcome. We're doing some doodling, some drawing, some line work. I mean to die, not something else. And nobody thought that. Nobody had thought that, Jabir. It's you didn't have to elaborate. That's fine. That's a wild thing I think about every once in a while. You guys remember that chat member who would show up every once in a while and then just throw copious amounts of money at the stream? I wonder what they're up to. I also seriously wonder what they do for a living to be able to just like have that kind of money to throw around. Forgot his name. Hope he's doing all right. Me too, because as much as I appreciate always the kindness and the support, I always worry. I always worry whenever people like donate copious amounts or gift like a shit ton of subs or something like that, because it's just like, one, you never know if it's a scam, especially like with the way that people do stuff like that on Twitch from time to time. But two, it's like you always wonder. I'm like, okay, I hope this isn't like money that you needed. I would feel bad. But I do always appreciate the support people throw around. But there are a lot of people out there who definitely have like crazy disposable income and will just throw like thousands of dollars at their favorite streamer or creator and be like, here you go. I think especially in the VTubing world, it's very, very prominent. Is it that Oshi thing I've heard about? Sometimes it's that. Sometimes just people just have money to throw around. I think it carries the same energy as like rich furries paying copious amounts of money for people to draw their personas and stuff like that. I think it lands into a similar territory there. Some people out there just have a lot of money. But I don't think I'm anyone's Oshi in the traditional Oshi sense. You know? I think it's safe to say I have viewers and fans, I guess. I don't know. I feel like Oshi is a strong word. You're definitely my Oshi. Then where's your custom crow merch, huh? Where's your crow eat a bag? I'll believe it when I see the crow eat a bag. All right. Okay, I'm not creative. Crow body pillow when? You sickos, never. You freaks. If I ever get to like either 1 million subscribers on YouTube, or if I get to 5K followers on Twitch. 5K followers or 1K subs, either or. Then maybe I'll consider it. Maybe. Ooh. Stretch. Time to call in the cavalry. Guys, there's this streamer. He's named Crow Corverwing. He's kind of cool. He streams art. I don't know. I figure things like that are better for like milestone sort of things instead of just like doing on a whim. Because also, like, realistically, if I do something like that, like if I made merch, who's gonna buy it? You know what I mean? I'll take a Belfie figurine. I said Crow merch, not Belfie merch. See what I mean? You immediately went to my OC, not to me. I don't care for that guy. Damn, dude. Looks like you're never getting a Belfie figurine then. Why is the world so cruel? Because you're an asshole. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll make Crow merch. I'll design like a jacket based off my character's jacket. That'd probably be the ideal merch for me, to be honest, is just like making Crow's jacket like a real jacket or something like that. I would refine the design a little bit more because it's a little too simple. But yeah. Maybe love straight my heart. Mm-hmm. Mm. I gotta fix the head placement, but that'll be after I finish drawing the rest of the head. Important to flip your canvas often so you can spot the little mistakes that make your character look really weird sometimes. I was debating drawing this in the Toriyama style at first. Then I'm like, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work for what I am going to just make a simple drawing. I think in the future maybe I'll try that out, but yeah. I've never actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever actually attempted to draw in Toriyama style. Aside from when I was younger and I would just copy like old images of Dragon Ball to practice drawing. Like most young Mexican boys. Me when I was a kid drawing Trunks because I like him. That was me with Gohan. I used to draw Teen Gohan in the Piccolo fit all the time because I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. And in fact, it is still the coolest thing ever because anytime you see Gohan still put on the Piccolo fit, he looks awesome. It makes me happy that the most recent Dragon Ball movie was about Gohan. The superheroes movie. I used to draw like random fight scenes for Smash characters and just had Goku too. I used to me and my friend, we used to draw like a lot of we used to get old this is topical because I recently drew like a Majora's Mask like little doodle sketch thing. Um but me and my friend, we used to get like old Nintendo like promo art stuff and we used to just like try to draw it, right? And I remember one of the ones that my friend drew was that original render of Skull Kid in like the concept art or whatever, the promo art for Majora's Mask, where it's like the heavy shadows and all that stuff. And then I remember I used to draw like Paper Mario promo art and stuff like that because I really like the Paper Mario style. And some of the old Kingdom Hearts like concept art as well. That's part of the thing that gets you started drawing, right? Like it's literally just you copy a thing that you saw and you're just like, I want to draw like this, you know? It's like the gateway. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't get that, especially because like this day and age, there's like such a stigma behind like, don't trace, don't copy. And I'm like, yeah, don't trace, don't copy. But like a lot of younger people, that's how they get interested. They'll like try drawing a piece of art that they saw, and they'll be like, this is so cool. I want to draw like this, and that'll encourage them to want to keep drawing. You know. Game Books back when cases had them and Club Nintendo magazines. Yeah. The Super Mario Strikers style also like fucking did something to my brain when I was younger. That like very sketchy, like rough style for like the characters. I used to love drawing stuff like that. I used to try to recreate the box art to kick so much ass. Oh, I did that. I recreated the box art for Mario Strikers. I remember I gave the drawing to one of my teachers, and I think they had it like hung up on one of their cabinets. Oh, you know what's something funny that happened today? Um, a old figure that I pre-ordered, like, like I think almost a year and a half ago. Uh, it finally got shipped out, and the only reason I know about it is because a ton of money got taken out of my bank account. And then when I checked, like, why did I suddenly just lose a bunch of money? And then when I went to go check, it was like, oh, this figure is shipping out. And I'm like, thank you, Good Smile. Thankfully, I had the money for it, but I was just like, thank you, Good Smile. Thank you for just doing that. I knew the figure was like coming because I saw people posting pictures of like their figures already coming in, and I'm like, oh, I wonder when mine's gonna come in. And then it's like, and then I made sure to have like money in my account for it. But like, it's just so funny that that's the way they went about. That's the way they go about doing it. Good smile. It's my Ina figure. I'm so happy. The Speaking of though, I do want to get those Final Fantasy VII figures that are like the PS1 blocky like style, old Nomura style versions of them. I do want to get those figures at some point. This. There you go. That looks a lot more natural. I was eyeing new Loth figure, but I'm not willing to spend that amount of money yet. Yeah. Just start like a fund to be like, this is the figure fund, everybody. If you want to help out a simple artist get their booba, their ass figure. um Buy my figure. Yes, Lilith. $180. No, Lilith. For LASIK right now, I can wait. I want to see it in high definition. I will never get LASIK. I'm not brave enough. I have very little concern about my opinion, but I also want to wear sunglasses. I don't want it that badly. I found an artist that draws really good, cute girls with amazing thighs and also very good Kamen Riders. I don't know how that correlates, but it works. Who is it? Don't worry about it. Keep waiting. I don't know. It was just art that I saw on my timeline, guys. Don't stop freaking out. Stop it. I just saw some cool art on my timeline for a second, and I was like, "Who is this?" And then I saw it, and then that's what it was. God, you guys need to relax. Anyways, I'll share in a sec. Hold on. There, go nuts. God, you're like rabid animals. It's actually as you described, yeah. Also, that Lilith figure just popped up on my timeline. Wow, her ass is huge. I expect no less. So anyways, um what were we talking about? Listen, guys, I always got the good art connections, all right? You looking for something specific? I'll find it for you. I don't like that her hair spike here is so thick. It shouldn't be that thick. They should be the same thickness on each side. So it should be more like this. Yeah, Mario Strikers. That's Ma- Mario Strikers, that's what we were talking about. Yeah. It's woman. Yeah, it's such a good art style. Um, it's I like it when Nintendo allows their other studios to just get wacky with like art direction. I love that you find this so funny. I do. It's very it tickles. One could say it tickles my funny bone. Tickles my funny bone. There we go. Oh no! Oh, hello! Oh, thank you for the raid. Hello, everybody! Wow, thank you for the raid. Oh my goodness, what an auspicious time for everyone to show up. Hello, everybody. I'm gonna turn that off real quick. Hold on. Um. Anyways, hello everyone. I'm my name is Crow. I was just doing a bit. Sorry. Hello. Thank you so much for the raid, Lily Shark. I appreciate that. Welcome everybody. My name is Crow. I do art. I'm a VTuber, as you can tell. I do those two things sometimes at the same time, like today. I'm drawing my OC in bikini armor because Golden Week golden bikini trend. That's what we're doing today. But hello, if you like what you see, I have plenty of other art as well as finished works like this. Do you like Tifa dressed up as Cammy from Street Fighter? I got that. Do you like Majora's Mask doodles? I got that. I got lots of stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff and more, please leave a follow at the Crow Corvawing channel. Thank you very much. Anyways, all right, now that the sales pitch is done, hello, and thank you so much for the raid, Lily Shark. What were you doing? What were you rating? What were you rating? What were you streaming? You're rating me, but what were you streaming? W art and presentation voice. Thank you. I could have done the Markiplier impression. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my stream. Thank you so much for the follows. I really appreciate it. No, but seriously, I do a lot of art stuff. We did Legos and diamond painting. Whoa, that sounds sick. Amazing, Mark boy. Thank you. Have you seen my new movie? It's called Iron Lung. You see, but my Markiplier voice starts devolving into Patrick Warburton. Like, it just starts sounding like Kronk. The poison to kill Cusco, the Cusco poison. Yeah, what is diamond painting? You just said that like very casually. I've never heard of diamond paint. Like actual diamonds, like you went to mine diamonds like in Minecraft? Sorry, you're just getting a face full of boob right now. But is that like, you know, W boobin face? Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Oh, for anybody wondering why I was laughing too, when you guys joined, I've been doing this bit where I have this video playing in the background. It's 10 hours of silence, occasionally interrupted by the Bad to the Bone riff. So yeah, that's why I was laughing, because it was tormenting my chat with it. They're fake, but Little Diamonds making pieces of art like paint by. Oh yes, I've seen those. Yes, I've seen those before. That's actually really cool. That's awesome. I like kind of crafty, arts and crafty kind of streams. And Legos are always cool. Though I haven't bought Legos as an adult yet. I'm sure I'll make that decision at some point. I do want to get the Game Boy Lego set, but I know that that thing is probably worth like way too much money. I said boobs like 10 times while doing my raid bit. Nice. If there's one thing I can provide you, it's definitely boobs. Not from me, but I can, you know, draw them like this. Or do I have other examples of boobs that I can show on twitch.tv and I won't get banned for? Let me see. This counts as boobs. I also drew Marie Splatoon. Does that count as boobs? Do you guys like that one? This one good? Show the boobs, please. All right, you sickos. I mean, I can't really run from this because it's like I draw literally like pretty women all the time. Ain't that right? But don't you worry, that's not all I draw. I also draw furries. Actually, no, that's not true. I don't draw furries that often. I just was really excited about Fox McCloud in the Super Mario Brothers movie, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, so I drew Fox. Anyways, I'm finding it funny now. Also, isn't it funny? I'm telling you, it works. Just drawing pretty women without booba. Just draw pretty women without booba? Yeah, I do. That's when I draw my Oshi. Nina my Enanis from Hololive English. Show Lilith? Oh yeah, you're right. Hold on. There you go. There you go. There's pretty women without booba. But yeah, that's some of what you'll get when you decide to join the Crow Corva Wing channel. So leave a follow today. Really nice work for real. Thank you. If you want to see more of my stuff, you can hit !point socials. And you can follow me on either Twitter, Blue Sky, or any one of my other links to see where I post things. So if you want to see more of my art, you can check that out there as well. And I appreciate it. For any of you who are some credentials, I guess I can list off as well as like for any of you who are Tekken fans, I've also had my art featured in Tekken as well as challenger art for Asuka. So if you are a Tekken 8 player out there, you might have seen my art around. Yeah, thank you again to Bandai Namco for that opportunity. That was really cool. Yeah, buddy. But yeah, it's just been chill drawing stream so far. Just you know, getting through this. I'm pretty much almost done with the line art on this. I don't think I'm gonna render this on stream because that'll take forever. But I'm definitely going to at least finish the line art and maybe put down the flats for it, and probably edit it a little later too. But yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I forgot about the bad to the bone thing for a second, and then every time it's been playing so far, I keep forgetting about it. Which is perfect. That's exactly what I wanted out of it. Listen, when you've been streaming for as long as I have, you gotta find little things to keep yourself, like, you gotta keep chat on their toes. My sensei. I wouldn't say I'm at that level, but I appreciate the sentiment. I've
Where's
definitely
everyone
gotta.
going? Bingo?
We're just pressing all the buttons today, huh? Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Um, yeah, I still got a lot to learn. That's part of the reason why I like kind of, sharing my art journey with people. Don't press the fart. Don't. We don't. We don't gotta do that. We don't gotta. We don't have to show them the fart. That's not necessary. All right. God damn it. Oh, it gets me every time. You know what's gonna fuck me up is I'm probably gonna forget that it's even open, and then I'm gonna just leave it in that tab, and then later on it's gonna jump scare me after I end stream. All right, let's see. Yeah, I have a playlist of like lo-fi video game music and whatever other music that I can find. I like to keep it like the music that I play on stream very like lo-fi because it helps me concentrate, and it's also not super invasive. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Hold on, let me see. Hmm. Well, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Very much. My goal before the end of the year is to get to 1K followers. We're getting closer and closer to that goal. We're a little less than 300 away from that goal, so tell your friends about Crow Corvoing stream. And you too can be bad to the bone. God damn it. This is why I hate drawing your tail. it's not like a crazy goal or anything. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh man, I'm really like, you know, but it is a goal that I have set for this year because I've been streaming for 3 years now, and I'm like, you know, I'd at least like to get to that milestone within my 3 years of streaming. That'd be nice. Guy who put the part in there. I hate drawing this part. Yeah. And you'll get there. Thanks. Appreciate the sentiment. It's weirdly common. Well, yeah. Because sometimes in the design phase of a character, you'll be like, oh, this will be a neat thing to add to the character. And then you don't realize afterwards, you're like, oh, well, shit, now I have to draw it all the time. Because if I would have honestly made her tail a lot shorter, to be honest. But I feel like at this point, it's a little too late. That is not even close to centered. Me with line art. That was pretty cool, though. It is. I've noticed most of my OCs do have tails. To my own detriment. The problem with Belfi's tail is that it's really skinny. So that's where the frustration sort of comes from. Go for the single line tail approach. Eh. And cheat these narrow parallel lines by using the layer border effect. Yeah, I should do that more often. I don't know why I don't. Fantastic. I actually want to do a video. The Zelda music just made me think about this, but I actually really want to do a video soon. I got inspired to talk about the art direction of Majora's Mask and how even though it's very similar to Ocarina of Time, there's enough subtle changes in it that it feels so distinct from Ocarina of Time. You love the random bad to the bone. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it. Sounds like a wonderful video. I had the idea when I was doing my doodling. So when I was like doodling these Majora's Mask things, I kind of thought about the idea that in Majora's Mask, there's a very distinct like darkness, right? There's like almost a horror tinge to the way that a lot of the characters are designed and drawn, even though they are reuses of like Ocarina of Time character models, right? But when you look at the art and there's like the high contrast shadows and stuff, it's like it gives this sense of like just something under the surface that is like not all is well. Guy, look at the Ben drowned fan art. You stop that. Looks like Ben breathing to me. I hate it here. I truly do. Anyways, um, yeah, it's just gonna be like a little kind of more just talking about my own thoughts on thank you. Talking about my own thoughts on how I feel about it and whatnot. Because it's funny how I'll look at Ocarina of Time and be like, yeah, you know, it's got a distinct art style for the time, but like, you know. But something about the way the Majora kind of plays with it, I just kind of like. Mostly because I know a billion people have made videos about like the real dark story behind Majora's Mask and the subtle horror of, you know. But I want to dive into how the art direction really pushes it, because I feel like in a lot of cases people usually talk about the writing or the thematic elements in the game itself, but don't necessarily talk about how the slight shift in art direction really is the thing that makes you feel this, right? And not just from the characters, but also the environment, because throughout all of Majora's Mask, at least from the majority that I remember of it, there is not a single hint of the Triforce or anything familiar to the previous Zelda game. And that instills like this feeling of unease and uncanniness, because it's like you just went on an adventure where that was like the crux of it, right? And now you're somewhere where it feels like even the goddesses cannot, you know, intervene and help. And I think that there's something so unique about that. Yes, I agree. So yeah, that's gonna be a video that I work on pretty soon as well. And I'll probably make some art to go alongside the video. That's like an idea of mine that I want to do, is like for each video I'm gonna make like a piece of art that goes alongside it. So there's like layers to it. Might end up making me revive my Patreon. Who knows? I also want to play through Majora's Mask on stream at some point. I want to try out the Ship of Harkinian version, or the recompile, um, where people recompiled Majora's Mask so that it's playable natively on the PC. I think that'd be neat. All right. Time to throw some color on this, but first. Okay. I'm not gonna be rendering right away. I'm just gonna do some flat so I can get to rendering next time. I'm working on this. Mm-hmm. There we go. I think at some point in the future I want to try doing like full-on speed paints as well. It's just like their own videos. I think people like those as well. Also, I don't know if it's true, but it did happen to me. I had one of my Twitter posts get deleted, and not by me. I think Twitter just did it by itself, and it was the Tifa drawing of her in the cami outfit. It had already gotten like almost to 2K likes, and then out of nowhere it just disappeared, and it was like, oh, sorry, there's no post here. And I'm like, that's fucking weird. Why is it doing that? And I went to make sure that I wasn't just like my app glitching, and it's like, nope, the post is just gone. It got deleted by Twitter. So I reposted it, and so far it seems like it's fine, but I don't know. I remember reading somewhere that apparently they're going to be cracking down on like anything not safe for work on Twitter. I don't know how true that is, but if that's the case, then I don't know what I that wasn't even not safe for work. Like that's the worst part about it. It was like just straight up, you know, like she wasn't nude or anything. So I'm like, I don't know. Was this like too risque? I guess, but like it's just so weird. I hope that's not the case. Does that sometimes you see my posts in private, but damn. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's specifically like not safe for work stuff or not safe for work adjacent stuff, but it is weird that it was like just happening out of nowhere. Um, but I don't know. I feel like it's a bit too little too late for them to try and like clean up the try to clean up like the site considering how many like porn bots there are on the website already. So it's like you should have done this a long time ago if you were really going to go this direction, but you know, who even knows? It's funny because I do have a not safe for work Twitter account technically. I just never post on it. And at this rate, probably never will, to be honest. At least not anymore. I forgive you. I mean, there's the other one. That one's around. You know, we'll go with like a white for the edges. Make this look like pristine armor. Okay. Sorry, this is the part of the drawing process where like I just go brain off, fill in color. You know. This is the part where Crow starts chewing on his crayons. What's your favorite flavor, chat? You guys know that there's like a macaroni and cheese crayon? Like it doesn't taste like mac and cheese, but it's just called macaroni and cheese. It's like a yellow crayon. That feels dangerous because like you know a stupid kid is gonna eat that and be like, oh, I bet it tastes like mac and cheese, and then it doesn't. Makes you think. It really does. Did you guys ever go to school with kids that like ate crayons or like glue and stuff? I remember in kindergarten there was I don't know how I remember it, but there was a kid that when we were learning how to hold a pencil, there was a kid who would just chew his pencil like aggressively. And sometimes we had to share pencils, right? And I remember at the time, they wouldn't just replace the pencil. They were just like, "Ah, we'll just wipe it off or something, and then the next kid can use it." And so we would just have like one pencil that was like, oh my. Hello, everybody. Oh my god, I actually did the Markiplier voice back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Thank you, Rose. Thank you for the raid. Hey, what's up? It's been a minute. How was your stream? How'd it go? What were you streaming? Also, hello, everybody. My name is Crow Corvawing. I draw art. Sorry, you got a face full of boob right now, but I do a lot of cool art. And I VTube sometimes at the same time. You'd be surprised. If you want to see what more of my art looks like when it's finished, here's Lilith from hit game Darkstalkers that Capcom refuses to make another one of. And if you don't like that, here's Marie Splatoon, if you like Splatoon. And then here's Tifa dressed up as Cammy, that Twitter apparently didn't like and deleted it at some point. Anyways, that's a good over-under of what I draw. Playing the first 3D Ninja Gaiden? Oh. OMG, your art is so good. Is this the part where I embarrass myself? I mean, you already know about this, Rose, but like maybe your viewers don't know. I actually made fan art for Rose like a while back because I remember one of your posts came across my timeline way back when, and I was like, I need an idea for like a warm-up sketch. And I couldn't come up with anything, and then I just saw you in one of your outfits, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And I drew you. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Don't worry about that, by the way. Don't pay attention to that. Here's one. Here's a. This is 2024. This is an old Rose warm-up sketch that I did, and then another one which is based off a really cool picture you took of you holding a Moonlight Greatsword. I think I can find it. It was like right next to this one. Where is it? Oh, there it is. And then this one, another warm-up sketch that I did based off of that. Yeah. This is where I expose myself. You're very how should I put this? You're very drawable is the best way I could describe your looks. And they're very they inspire a good warm-up sketch. And you have really cool outfits. What can I say? But again, yeah, that's me spilling my spaghetti everywhere. Anyways, thank you so much for the raid again. And Ninja Gaiden, that sounds really cool. I gotta go eat some dinner, but have a wonderful stream. Thank you for stopping by, Rose, and thank you again for the raid. You go enjoy your dinner, and you have a good rest of your night. But yeah, she's very drawable. It's true. Another person who has drawn her. Awesome. She has a strong character design. Don't you love when people describe you as, yeah, you know, my friend, my buddy Rose over there. Very, very strong character design. I'm gonna start describing my friends that way. Whenever I see somebody that I'm like, oh, that person, very strong character design. Right now, for anybody curious, I'm essentially drawing my OC Belfi in golden bikini armor. Inspired by the warrior armor from Dragon Quest, because it's Golden Week in Japan, and usually as a trend many artists draw people in golden bikinis, but I've already drawn my OC in a golden bikini once, so I wanted to vary it up. Looks very Toriyama, yeah. And I wanted to draw her in bikini armor, so that's how we got here. So we're making it gold. Hell yeah. But I appreciate any the follows and everything. Thank you so much. We're on the road to 1K followers. We're getting there. Slowly but surely we're getting there. So thank you so much for helping out with that. And if you want to see more of my art that it's not here on stream, you can hit !socials and you can go see my Twitter and my Blue Sky or wherever the hell I am, and you can see all the different art that I post. So yeah, if you want to see more, go there. Go exclamation point socials. You won't regret it. I also tend to post a lot of process stuff here and there, and especially on my YouTube channel, or I'm trying to at least. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff or like seeing time lapses, you can go check that out as well. My process is dookie. I mean, my process isn't exactly any better either, to be honest. You would think that after years of doing this, I would streamline it a little more, but nope. Tend to wing it. I do try to be more or less consistent with like the stuff that I make though. But I am always trying to improve little by little. All right. God. I feel like whenever I do art streams for like 3 hours, my brain ends up being very fried. Okay, you know what? It's time to turn off Bad to the Bone. The the bit has run its course. I know when to stop a bit. You know what's the best part about having like art go viral or something like that, or having like, you know, a presence, is that when you look at your DMs on Twitter, it's like nothing but sex bots, you know? Sophia, hold on. Do you guys want me to read you some of the bot messages that I get on Twitter? They're pretty great. Hold on. I will now read several of the bot messages that they open with. Sophia Robertson says, "No panties on right now, Crow, and pussy throb," and that's where it ends. Franny Mass says, "Hello, are you busy? Can we chat?" Chloe Lily says, "Be honest, think you could even handle?" And then it cuts off there. Millie just sent a link. Chloe, do you check your DMs? Low key wanna talk. I'm sorry, Chloe. Throb, yes, I'm not even. Hold on. Do you want me to read? Hold on. Let's open that one, shall we? No panties on right now, Crow, and pussy throbbing bad. No lie. Squirt emoji, no lie. Literally just filmed me spread wide so close. Lovely. Alina asks, guess what I just thought? Millie sent a link. That's the second time, Millie. Franny says, hey, I think you're awesome. Can we get... Suzanne Fitzgerald says, hi, how was your day? Vic says, well, if I'm honest, I basically pasted this, and then it cuts off. Hold on, let me find an egregious one. My bots are always like, do we even talk to people? Hey, at least your bots aren't talking about their pussy throbbing. You know? It could be worse. It truly could be. I drop a follow. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. These are they're great. They're truly something. I'm pretty sure there's like more of these, but what an endeavor. I had to double take on my DMs because somebody who was pretending to be Adi Shankar was in my DMs. And then I checked their profile and they were the account suspended. Terrifying whether it's real or not. Yeah, I can't believe it. Okay. Well, this has been a very productive stream. This is the final, what is going to be the final colors for this. Yay. We got there from start to finish. Anyways, the golden bikini will be finished at another time. I have been streaming for about 3 hours, and oh my goodness, I've also been up since like 5 a.m. So, Crow sleepy. Crow need to go rest, and also Crow a little sweaty and needs to like go wash his face because it's got very hot in my room all of a sudden. So yeah. Anyways, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who decided to stop by today. Also, a big thank you to both Rose Waltz and Lily Shark for the raids today. Shout out to those people. If any of my mods could do that, Jerbear, if you're there. But thank you so much for the raid, and thank you so much for the follows. If you came from any one of those streams and you like what I do, please feel free to drop a follow. If you want to see more of my art, go check out my socials and all that stuff. And yeah, enjoy what I do. And I do stream quite often, so you know, make sure to stop on by. I don't know how streams are going to be over the weekend. I will try my best. I will let you guys know. Again, they're going to be up in the air, but I'll let you guys know. I don't have a set schedule right now. But I just felt like streaming today because I wanted to hang out and have a good time. But anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by. I hope you have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you, and I'll see you later. Where's the goodbye riff? All right. One more for the road. One more for the road. Here, let's get it in all its pureness. Hold on. Will one play as soon as I open this? We're 47 minutes into that video, by the way. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Give it a bit. Give it a minute. Hold on. Hold on. This is taking a while. there like a timestamp of when they happen? All right, there we go. Anyways, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye!